Yes, the board should have received a letter from us dated September 19th on Gulfstream Section 6 securities. Section 6 consists of 48 single-family lots. The developer has constructed the sanitary sewers, drainage facilities, and roads in general compliance with the approved drawings, with the exception of the items noted in the letter. There's two types of securities the town needs to obtain. The first is the guarantee period security, which we've recommended an amount of $64,750. The developer may also choose to use a lump sum security deposit based upon the number of lots he has in progress. The second form of security we need to take is for items which are not completed, and we've recommended in that amount that the town takes $69,800. I'd like to point out that the items that are not completed, the majority of them are things that cannot be completed at this time, such as installing the top course on the road, installing the concrete catch basin aprons, which need to wait until the top goes on, and also the stop signs, which you just had your public hearing on tonight. There was one other item on the concrete valley gutters where we want to hold some security for a portion of those gutters, but that's the only item there. So in general, that's the security amounts. I talked to Jay Sykes today also to see if he had any additional securities that he wanted, and he did not. Chris has got a copy of the letter. I haven't heard anything from Chris on any additional securities. So assuming they don't have anything else, the amounts are correct. The last thing we'd like to note is that the applicant should continue to provide and maintain the necessary siltation and erosion control. And at this point in time, the code office would now take over the responsibilities for reviewing that. And our only recommendation at this time is that the right-of-way should be vegetated.
Questions?
Gary, on number 5 where it says roads at $36,000, how does that differ from the install the top course? I mean,
well, the difference, Bill, is the fact that the $36,000 is a guarantee. That basically says that, John may have to help me because I can't remember the time periods, but say like 2 years after the top goes on, you've still got a guarantee on that road.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the other is for the actual installation of top in case for some reason, he didn't do that next year, or when Chris wants it down, we would have money so that it could be put down.
Is there a time frame on these guarantees, or how long we can retain them?
I'm going to defer to the attorney because they write the agreements with the various dates in there.
Bill, I'm going to defer to Heather so she can get back to you on that, but I know that there are times at least 2 years.
Right, the reason I ask is we've run into problems, with gutter replacement, as we talked about, with gutter replacement and everything else. On some places that are 3 and 4 years old, they should have held up better than they did. That's why I'm concerned of how long we're going to have these guaranteed in our possession before we release them. But I'll get to that.
The general rule is on the pipelines and things of that nature, it's generally 1 year. The roads, I believe, and I don't want to misquote, I believe are like 2 years after the top. And again, without having the agreement in front of me, which we don't write, I don't know the exact.
Who dictates those time limits?
Basically, it's the form of agreement the attorneys have had. I mean, if something wants to change, I think we need input from Chris and or the board to change that.
Okay.
So we can put in longer time frames. I mean, we've run into problems. Mr. Ryback said we run into problems, with roads deteriorating after securities have been released, and then there's no way to get the developer back to make the necessary repairs.
That can absolutely be done. It should be done on an overall basis and not project by project, so that there's consistency for the developers.
So, I'm a realist. I know we're not going to be able to hold on to it for 10 years, but I think that we just need a time frame that protects the town more than it has in the past.
Well, I think 10 years sounds good.
I don't.
Yeah, do you have a comment? Would you come to the microphone, please?
I'm not clear, Gary or Jen. I currently have a lump sum agreement with the town. This is 48 lots. I have a lump sum agreement that covers 31 to 60 lots, and the agreement is 47.5. This happens to be, what you're asking for is in excess of the 47.5. My question is, do I get an additional letter of credit for the difference? I'm not too sure. I thought the lump sum agreement covered all of this stuff.
When the home builders came to the town many years ago, one thing that was clear when this was negotiated is that if you use the lump sum method, that will be worked out between the attorneys. We as engineers are simply going to provide the numbers for what the amount of securities we feel should be held if you use the method of value. Because we don't want to be in the position of trying to be bookkeepers to say how many lots anybody has going on at any one time. So I would have to defer to Heather and or Jennifer to answer that question, because if you choose to use that method, if you go with the other method and your other letter was expiring, then I can tell you the guarantee would be for $64,750.
Then my question is to Jen, I guess. I've been in this project for quite a while now. We've used the lump sum agreement all the way, and I've currently got that letter of credit or that security involved at 47.5. Does that cover the first portion of his letter?
You would, yes, but you need to have additional securities for the
Punch list.
criminal. Yeah.
No, we're talking about,
Okay.
the punch list is a separate item.
Yes.
Right.
I'm talking about, you identified 67.5 on the guaranteed items,
64,750.
64,750. I have a guarantee, a lump sum agreement at 47.5. What do I do? Am I obligated to give additional securities?
Yes. Yes, you can coordinate with Heather, because I'm not familiar with what you have posted exactly right now. Heather has all of that. She'll be back in the office on Thursday if you want to call her then.
My other question is, are there going to be agreements that have to be drawn?
Yes, and she'll prepare those and send them out.
What agreements are they? The highway agreement?
You'll have the highway agreement, the punch list securities, she'll do a revision probably to your lump sum agreement, just to reflect the new figures. But she'll send all that out. Do you want her to send it directly to you or to your attorney?
Oh, to me, but I'd like to have her give me a call so that we can talk about it first.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. So how should we have the resolution worded, Jen?
If your attorney agrees with me, I would recommend that the board approve acceptance of the securities as outlined in our September 19th letter. Because that letter is very clear that if they use the lump sum agreements that the developer would need to consult, it says right in the letter, would need to consult with the town attorney to determine the parameters for doing that. But the attorney will ensure that either the 64,750 or the lump sum amount and the correct amount based on the number of lots he currently has. That's the only number that we as engineers don't get involved with. But if you do it in accordance with this letter, then I think you're okay. Do you agree, Jim?
I absolutely agree.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Mrs. Moreno?
Yes.
Ms. Tarwacki?
Yes.
Mr. Ryback?
Yes.
Mr. Corral?
Yes.
Mr. Lozinski?
Yes.